Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. It took me only 15 seconds of listening to Phil Bozeman's voice to know that I wanted to see down his throat. But I've been saving this moment of a full listen through and analysis of I Will Find You for now. Let's get to it. Shortest stop ever, I know. Is this country? I'm sorry. It sounds like it's kind of down home, right? Right? Am I wrong? It's like a little like country rock, hair in the mouth, a little country blues. I did not expect that. Okay, I'm gonna let it keep going. Oh, it was like even like a little lingering with this country sound. I like that font. Ooh. Have there been other deathcore bands that have blended country rock in? I don't think I've ever heard a deathcore, metalcore band bring in a little country like this. I guess Nurgle has done a little bit, but I think that's mostly side projects. This is fascinating. Like, what a fascinating sound. I like the way that they made it heavier. We've got somebody running in the woods at this point. I think that's Phil. So we kind of got our setting, which feels somehow very much in the country. And then it feels like some intensity is brought to that setting by this shift into more of the metal music. That's fascinating. I can't tell if that is multi-tracked or not. Is he creating all of those different sounds in just one scream? I do have a little bit of side panning and echo where I think I've got some layers of the screaming in, but his just fundamental sound here sounds like it has so many sources that are active. And it's beefy. Oh, I am so excited to get to see down his throat. He sounds like he has a lot of power. One of the things that we've been looking at is how much power is really produced in harsh vocals and screams, gutturals. There's so many different names we can call them. I'm hoping that with some of this research that will help establish some terminology that can be widely applied. And really, I'm going to be working with each of the artists to understand how they categorize their screams, because we don't have anything that is a through line so far. And I think that needs to come from listening to how artists talk about how they're doing these amazing sounds. So when I hear him make these sounds, it sounds to me like there are multiple points above the true vocal folds that are being activated, and a lot of them. And it also sounds like it's more powerful than some of the other screamers I've heard, kind of like more along the Alex Terrible line of screaming. So I'm going to be really curious to hear him in person, which that'll be, fascinating. Then we can take measures and decibels. It's very powerful, I think. The devil is dead. that was interesting there. There was a shift there that it actually sounded like a source shift. So when I'm thinking about any sort of vocal distortion, I'm usually thinking about source and filter, source filter theory. It's a very common theory that's applied in voice science. And basically you have the source of the sound. What thing is colliding in the air, right? So that it's creating patterns in the air that reach our ear, right? There's the sound, where the source of the sound is being created. In clean singing, that's the true vocal folds. Right? The true vocal folds come together and they go wacka, wacka, wacka in a very periodic, regular way. And that's what creates pitch. And the vocal folds are, they have a very special design and they're kind of fussy. So this allows them to create this very regular waveform that has a specific pitch. Then there are all of these other fleshy bits that are above the true vocal folds, upper laryngeal structures, we'll call them. And those can also come together. And I usually say when they come together, they go smacka, smacka, smacka. And they don't have that same periodicity that the vocal folds do. But they are still coming together and colliding in some way and creating a source of sound. We see that often as like more like pitch centers, or there's certain energy that's centered around different areas, different frequencies. And those different sources we're just starting to really get into. That's what this research is all about. We are studying upper laryngeal structures specifically, though a little bit of true vocal folds too, because sometimes we have some clean singing or some pitch that's brought in here. And we're studying it with the people who know how to use them the best, metal singers like Phil Bozeman. So cool. We'll talk about the power elements some more in just a bit, but let's hear him sing some more. He has some of the most clear diction I've ever heard in harsh vocals. Also, I have had goosebumps just like they started probably 30 seconds ago and they've covered my entire body at this point. It's, oh, wow. I feel like the physical sensation of listening to that section was incredible. It also happens to be the section that when I was reading through the lyrics stood out to me the most. I just got to read through this. So it's I Will Find You, the title of the song. But I, after the word I, like big letter I, you have in parentheses, the I closed its final time as I had walked through the flames. So it's playing on this idea of I and I and I. And then you have will. That's a verb there. And then it says in parentheses, the will of a beast is nothing compared to the will of a God. It's talking about will as a noun, but the will in I will find you, right? That's a different kind of will. Then you have find, same kind of find here. I'll find my peace when the bones of the devil lay at my feet. And then you, there's really only one you, right? You. And then parentheses, you and I are one. Mark my words. I will find you. I do wonder if the you before the parentheses is the same you that's addressed in the parentheses. I think that's just so clever. And he enunciates it so well. Enunciation in harsh vocals is really hard, y'all. Okay? I didn't know this. I used to be frustrated by how little words I felt could come through in harsh vocals. But with harsh vocals, one of the main things that is changing the sound is that filter. It's the mouth is a filter, and different tongue shapes bring in drastically different sounds. So if you're going to do a pig squeal, for example, or some sort of tunnel scream, your tongue has to go in a weird, wacky position. And it doesn't do that and do words at the same time, right? Tongue wacky position, it's necessary to have your tongue in a certain position to enunciate a word. So putting the two together is a big clash. It's always amazing to me when metal singers can manage that. This is beautiful, beautiful clear diction in here. Here it is. Oh gosh. Wow. One of the things that I was noticing in there is like little things popping out of his neck, which signal to me, obviously this is a music video, so it's not the same vocals as we're hearing, but usually when singers do music videos, they're actually singing, so it really looks like they're singing. It's really hard to actually mimic singing. Lip syncing it's pretty difficult because all of this stuff doesn't move in the same way if you're not actually singing. But he has essentially extrinsic laryngeal engagement where we see lots of other things happening here. And I do think that that is associated with more power in the voice. This has not been researched, okay? It's something that there are conversations about, but there's no actual research, none that I have seen. I've done a lot of digging in this area. But I think that when metal singers are going into a heavier sound, a more powerful sound, it seems like there might be a necessity for this engagement here to help stabilize the whole apparatus. More power is associated with more breath pressure. So breath is going up here and going smack. And these muscles, it looks like, might be engaging to help it stabilize, stay down. Don't blow the larynx out of the throat. Ooh, that's cool. Aww. There's such a cool, like, thick, deep sound that's layered in there. Right there. Oh, it's almost like we're hearing a little overtone that's happening in there as well on the deep sound. There's some really cool resonance. So fascinating.
I always feel like there's something that I left behind. It's not a possession, any acceptance of mine. It's me.
Wow. That was so touching. Is essentially like a little bridge here. That's so beautiful. His voice has got a tenderness, a vulnerability, and lightness to it that makes a wonderful contrast. The clean singing makes a wonderful contrast with the harsh singing here. And there's some little tiny finesse details too that I want to point out. Wow.
I always feel like there's something that I left behind.
So it's right there on hind. He's being really specific about how he places that diphthong, both with where the vowels are happening and where the pitches associated with the vowels are happening. I is an E diphthong, so he sings on the top pitch and then he drops E down to the lower pitch. Check it out.
I always feel like there's something that I left behind. It's not a possession, any acceptance acceptance of life.
And then he does the same thing with that diphthong, very light and delicate. It's beautiful how he lightens up the voice too as he goes higher. We naturally want to get louder when we go high, but it's like he mixed in just some headiness here that works really well in his voice.
Not a possession, any acceptance of life.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
It's me.
That was a great transition. Did not see that one coming. Side note, we're gonna go back and catch that one more time. I love it when guys have this incredible strong side that we see, and then we see this incredible vulnerable side. I always think that the best artists take their strength, or they take their vulnerability and actually turn it into a strength. And I think that a lot of the best people I've known and met in life do a very similar thing. They take a look at what is hurt, maybe what continues to hurt, and they say, I'm going to take that and that's going to be my point of greatest strength. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, encouraging testament to all of us. Got a little Bach in there. He's essentially morphing into this demon character. Fantastic, fascinating, phantasmic? Question mark. I am a Disney nerd, so of course I'm thinking about Phantasmic. That's really cool. I love the makeup job and this twist here. Yes. Wow. This is a good music video.
What is the point of running away when you don't know who you are? I'll always be one step behind until you realize who I am.
This is such a thought-provoking song. What is the point of running away when you don't know who you are? It feels like it's all about evolution of the self, right? How can you run away from something if you have to evolve to get away from it? You have to face it to evolve. Wow, beautifully woven together with the cleans and the harshes there. Brilliant. This is brilliant.
I'll always be one step behind until you realize who I
Ooh. Ew. That guitar slide was amazing. It's like a shivering siren. Oh, this again. We're going back for that scream again. That has so many delicious layers in it. There's even this really high one that's happening left pan. And it's got great breath control. Oh, that's a good ending. Oof. Oof. Impressive. Great job to the whole team. It's going to be so awesome to see inside of Phil's throat, see all of those sounds in action. And that vocal research is only going to happen with the support of our communities. I hope that you will check out our Kickstarter. Not only would you be supporting vocal research, getting a nice tax write-off for donating to a nonprofit, there are also a ton of extra perks like more analysis of Whitechapel and more analysis of other featured artists. So please check that out. Here's our Kickstarter launch video over here. And thank you, Phil, for volunteering your voice and your time. May you fall more in love with music every day.